There are two key ideas which I want to share in this video. The first idea is envy, and then the second idea is speculation. And then I am going to share how does KQ shares come into the picture. This video is probably going to come out June because in a manner I shoot a lot of videos when I am in the mood. I don't want to miss some schedules, so in a manner I publish a lot ahead. So I am doing this video on April 18, 2026. So my thoughts are basically going to be influenced by the current situation of KQ shares. In a manner, you can also use this information to also analyze or see where I come from. And also, there's another thing which you need to realize that these are my own opinions and thoughts, and I don't discourage those individuals who are buying KQ shares maybe to stop buying, and those who are selling maybe to stop selling. These are just my own opinions and thoughts. I am open to disagreements in the comment section. And also, if you would like this kind of videos, just subscribe, like, and also just don't forget to share. Now, the first idea is envy. There are those investors who have been buying KQ shares for a long period of time. And there are other investors, new investors, who have got excited because the shares of KQ are rising in price. But if you observe the fundamentals, the value of this company as a company which is listed in Nairobi Stock Exchange, you could think that mostly investors or those individuals who are buying these shares are probably doing it for speculation. Why am I saying that? I observed KQ, its revenue since 2021, it has been on the rise. That's something which is so wonderful for any company which you want to invest in. If you are a person who is interested in a given company and you want to invest in that company and you observe that there has been a lot of progress when it comes to the revenue, there has been an increase in revenue, then that's a good sign. So in terms of revenue, when it comes to KQ, I applaud them. But let's move other things which are related to you know, to research some of the things which you also need to research before investing in any given company. Let's see. Has KQ been making profits in the last, let's say, 5 years or 6 years? Between 2021 and 2025, KQ managed only to make a profit in 2024. All of this time, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2025, there was just losses being made by KQ shares. I have also observed familiar individuals who are great individuals when it comes to investing. One of them is Warren Buffett. I have observed also this individual, Charlie Munger, who was a partner of Warren Buffett. And there's another individual, Chris On, Sir Chris On. These individuals have discouraged or they don't invest in airlines. I also had a quote from Charlie Munger, who replied to a given individual who was asking him, how does an individual become a millionaire? And this was the message, or this was the reply he gave to this individual. If you want to become a millionaire, be a billionaire and then buy an airline. Then you will become a millionaire. Then you will become a millionaire. So it means that investing in an airline or shares which are dealing in an airline, you are just basically making a bet where the odds are against you. There are high chances that you are going to make a lot of losses. So this is kind of a confirmation of what is going on with KQ shares. Because out of the 5 years which I have observed, I have seen that it's only one good year which they made a profit. And also, if you go global, the airline which I am aware of, and this is after reading some news, is the airline which has been making profits, and it's because it had a good manager, and this manager happens to be the founder, is Southwest Airlines. That was the only airline probably which was making a decent amount of profit in the United States. Let's move closer home, Africa. I believe the information which is outside there is that the only airline which is probably working by working on a profit is Ethiopian Airlines. These other airlines are just making losses. That's another risk. I have said about the net profit. So KQ for the last 4 years, not 4 but 5 years, they have been making losses. This also translates to if a company is making losses, it means earning per share is on a negative side. Its PE ratio doesn't even appear. Let's move to another factor which you need to consider before investing in any company, and that is the cash flow which this company has. KQ, in terms of cash flow, I saw they have been having a decent amount of cash flow. But something which is also scary is that this cash flow has been dwindling since 2021. It has been decreasing, which means the cash which they have in reserve is being used up. What if the cash gets used up, all of it? It means that this company is prepared for collapse. Maybe the government will come in and rescue it, and that this is not for it's not going to happen for the first time. The government has been rescuing KQ for a long period of time. If that's a company which you are interested to invest in, then you are okay, you can do that. And there's something which I want to share when it comes to the earning per share. If you go ahead and buy KQ shares at the moment, they are currently trading at one share is around 7 shillings per share. And earning per share of KQ is around 22 negative 22 shillings. So you have just bought a business, and this business you have bought it for 6 shillings, but it is going to make you a loss of 21 shillings. What have you done? What are you going to do with this business? We have said now and again that you as an individual, if you are going to acquire or to approach investing in the stock market, you should develop a mindset whereby you are going to be a business owner. You are not just buying a ticker symbol on the stock market. You are buying a business, a genuine business. So if you are going to buy this business, which is going to generate you a loss, I don't think if you approach that idea with that mindset, you will end up buying KQ shares. That's my own opinion and thoughts. Now, another thing which you really need to consider is the equity of the company. And from my own understanding is the equity is all the assets which the company has and the liabilities. Once you add these two things, you will find whether the company has an equity or it's just relying on debt. And the sad news of the story is that, from my own observation, after doing my own research, KQ is one of those institutions which has a negative equity. Generally, it is a company with a lot of debts and there are no assets. Even if you sell the assets which KQ has at the moment, the KQ as a company will not be in a position to pay all those individuals it owes. That's how horrible it is for KQ shares. Now, why does then KQ shares keep on rising? Why does KQ shares keep on going forward? I can share my own perspective. Last time I saw KQ was after they declared the price, after they declared the losses which they made in 2025, there was a massive decrease in terms of the share price of KQ. Shares which were selling at around 4 shillings, 5 shillings, they came down crashing 3 shillings around there. But from my observation, either or from my own analysis, it's either there are individuals, major shareholders within KQ who probably want to get rid of KQ shares. That's why probably there has been aggressive buying and selling of shares in KQ. So it's really there is a likelihood that major shareholders have gotten exhausted with KQ shares and they don't want to deal with the mess of owning those shares anymore. Another thing probably is the effect of speculation. And here is where the second point which I was talking about comes in. During between 1960 and the 2000s, there was a lot of speculation in the United States of America. And one of the brokers who was quoted by the Newsweek, I believe this is one of the news outlets in the United States, said, I may not articulate or share the exact words, but I am going to frame them in a manner I can quote them. He said that the bad thing with the, the bad thing with speculators is that they believe if they buy a stock now, it will double overnight. And the worst thing is, or the horrible thing is, it has happened. So how does that statement relate to KQ shares? Speculators believe that if they are going to buy shares, for example, of KQ at 3 shillings per share, it's going to double. And that's exactly what has happened. KQ shares have doubled, and who is in the wrong side? It is we individuals who opposite that KQ shares are not worthy investing in. I remember I did one of the videos criticizing that if you are going to buy KQ shares, then probably you need to press for impact. At the same time, I just give out my own thoughts and my own comments. And probably what may be the difference between I and you is that I somehow share my thoughts on the internet. So, what do you expect at the end of the day when it comes to KQ shares? Since I have said none again, I am not a prophet. I am not here to predict what's going to happen in the markets. I strongly believe there's this statement which is thrown here and again that at the end of the day, when the tide stops, it's when we are going to observe those individuals who use it to or who are swimming naked. Probably that's not something which I wish for those individuals who are speculating KQ shares, but I probably guess that once individuals recognize that probably there are no assets which are supporting the speculation which is related to KQ shares, they will start actually leaving those shares or getting rid of those shares. I like your thoughts in the comment section. If you are in a position to observe or to see or to analyze KQ shares, what comes into your mind? What's your conclusion? If you are interested in this kind of videos, remember to subscribe, like, and also don't forget to share. See you in my next one.